You know, there's a lot of things about March Madness that make it special, and a part of it is cultural to the U.S. It's embedded in the U.S. culture in that when you go to a university and that university is one of the 68 teams participating in March Madness, it becomes something that you live with and that you take with you for the rest of your life. You know, everyone supports their alma mater after their university days, and around the country it's so popular because it's almost like a made-for-TV event, especially the first 4 days where it's around-the-clock NCAA basketball. And then you add to that, of course, the betting components where everyone is a part of their office pools, and now, of course, with legislated wagering in the U.S. as well. Well, I think from a betting standpoint, now that we have legislated wagering in a number of states, it really amplifies what the tournament brings, and that people can now bet on the games at their local retail outlets, as well as in select states like New Jersey, online. And if you've been to Nevada in March, you've seen the popularity. It's probably the busiest weekend of the year within the sports books, kind of wall to wall with people that are coming down to Las Vegas to watch the games and bet the games. And now you can replicate that experience in New Jersey, in Mississippi, in Pennsylvania, in Rhode Island, in Delaware, and other states. And you know, you add to that now the maturation of the in-game wagering, which comes over with companies that, from a legislative perspective, have experience in offering these types of markets, and it just makes it a better customer experience from a betting perspective. Well, I think there's massive differences between the regular season and March Madness. In the regular season, you have thousands of college basketball games, and you know, March Madness, every game has a lot of handle on it. Whereas in the regular season, you have some of these lower conference games where there's very little betting, and you're very susceptible as an operator because one sharp punter can drive the activity in a negative direction for you as a bookmaker. Whereas within the tournament, every game is so high profile, but in some ways it makes it easier because you're working with some liquidity and you're not really at the mercy of any one individual or syndicate group of punters. So it's a double-edged sword because you have that much more handle, but the liquidity makes it a little bit easier sometimes from an operator's perspective. Well, I think if you're looking at who are the most competitive teams, you start with the ACC conference, and of course you have the Duke Blue Devils, who are led by who's sure to be the #1 pick, Zion Williamson, and they had some injuries down the stretch, but now all of their team is healthy and clicking on all cylinders. So I think if I were looking at one team, it might be Duke, but of course you have their heated rival North Carolina, who's been a phenomenal team all year, and out west you have the Gonzaga Bulldogs, who are probably the deepest team in the tournament. And you know, if I'm looking at other teams, the state of Michigan has Michigan State and Michigan, who are both super competitive. And if you want to go off the board for a real long shot, maybe take a peek at the Murray State Racers. They have a stud player in Jam Morant, and they're a team to keep an eye on as well. I mean, betting on Sports America is going to be really it's something that I think all of us within the industry are really excited for. You know, with everything that's happening in the U.S. market, and you take the expertise that the SBC brand has globally and within the European community, and you bring that to the U.S. They've already got some really high-profile athletes who are involved in the betting space getting involved, and I know that myself, you know, really excited for this event. It should be a really outstanding few days in New Jersey and New York.